Good morning everyone, it's Michelle here, hope you're doing well. I'm entering a little bit of woodland. So this is, it's actually an old coal mine. This is all reclaimed land, it's reclaimed by nature. And the local council have made it into a little bit of a nature reserve, and they've got little paths. It's only a very, small amount of acreage. These are mainly oak trees. Cassie! Cassie! Come on, good girl. Good girl. Gotta keep my eye on the pup. She's highly excitable. Lots of smells and things for her to get distracted by. But I brought you here this morning for a reason. I want to talk about the Summer Wells case. It's over 3 weeks now since Summer disappeared. She disappeared on the kind of late afternoon, early evening of the 15th of June. From her home. I'm sure if you clicked on this video, you know the story, so I'm not going to go through the whole story again. But there's a few things I want to dispel, or at least give my opinion on. And this is based on an interview that Teresa from Unmasked did with someone called David, who knows the family, the Wells family, who knows them from church. He's only known them about 3 months. But within the church environment, but he knows them quite well, and he's been part of the support crew, for the want of a better word, like making sure that the family have got food and stuff. I'll take you off the path for a reason. So we're entering a little area of woodland now where it's a little bit more difficult on foot. I've got to bend down. And this is part of the hillside that was, it was all slag heap. The mine closed about 50 years ago. It's all been made safe. But there's lots of bits where you can kind of fall down, or there's like stony areas that belong to the mine. So it's a little bit tricky underfoot. And let's talk about that. So the first thing, and the reason why I brought you here, and I'm pointing the camera down to the floor, is there's been a lot of criticisms about why the family haven't searched the woodland. And unfortunately, the police have scaled back the search effort. They did a huge amount of searching. Specialist teams who did this because of the dangerous nature of the woodland. They lived in kind of a really, really rural area, much more dangerous than what I'm walking through now. Much more dense, wild animals. I think there's bears, there's coyotes, there's snakes. And the police did not want the public, unspecialised people out there searching this miles and miles of really, really rough terrain. And we're reaching an area now where the terrain is a little bit rougher. So we're going down the hill now. You can watch me treading very, very carefully. And imagine this going on for miles and miles and miles, with the possibility of being attacked by a wild animal. See, this is impossible to get through. Now, if a body, I know this is horrible to say, but if a body was hidden in miles and miles and miles of impossible, this is now impossible for me to get through. It's nettles and things that are higher than me. There's no way in the world I could get through that. It doesn't go on for very far, because I know this woodland really well. But I'm just saying, if this went on for miles and miles and miles, could you really search that on foot? No. You could send dogs in. You could send search dogs in. And then if they hit on something, then you could, you'd have to basically cut it all down, right? And now I'm tangled up in a tree. For people who have watched my other channel, You'll have seen me in this woods a lot, and me falling and yeah, really making a fool of myself. But I've never brought you guys here, but I thought this morning it would be useful just for the visual, really, that it's completely unsurprising that the family haven't gone out searching because of the terrain. Once now the police have scaled back the search effort, I think, you know, the community want to carry on searching. But how much of this really, really rough terrain they're going to be able to search without basically chopping it all down, I don't think they can. So, guys, just because the family are out trying to create some level of normality for the three boys, three Summers brothers, and because they're not out searching, doesn't mean they're guilty. And that brings me on to, I've seen criticisms of, you know, the family, but that Candus and Donald have just been acting normally, in air quotes, because they've been out spotted. I think they've been playing golf. They've been out and about, taking the boys out. But to keep things normal for the boys is a fair and decent thing to do. Those boys are traumatised. They've lost their sister. They see her on TV. There's been huge disruption in their life. They probably feel guilty because they were some of the last people to see her. Imagine what it's like for those little boys. They're not very old. Right, I'm not going to show a picture of them, but it's easy to find pictures of them. Cass! Good girl! Good girl! Good girl! She's quite good at recall. She's only 4 months old. So don't criticise the family when you see pictures of them out and about with the boys. They're trying to maintain normality for themselves and for those little kids. When my son was killed in 2014, my next oldest son was 17, and my little son, who's now 18, was 11. And he died, killed on the Sunday morning. And on I think it was the Wednesday, we went to the seaside. So if my son's killing was a high profile case, and reporters and people who thought I was involved in his killing were following me, was basically stalking me, and they saw me on the beach, or they saw me taking photographs of my family playing golf, or they saw me on a boat ride on the local marina, they'd have thought, she's as guilty as sin. No. I was trying to create in my head some level of normality. I was traumatised. My 2 sons were traumatised. And I needed to maintain a level of normality for them. So, guys, if you've never had somebody very close to you either go missing or be killed by crime, just be careful that you're not judging them unnecessarily. That's all I'm saying. Good girl, Tilly. Good girl. Finally, David cleared up the confusion about Candus's polygraph. That she said she passed the polygraph, but there's claims that she'd also said she failed it. David's cleared this up, and I believe him. That Donald passed first time, but they did a range of kind of different lie detector tests. Like they test kind of different things, right? They have different measures going on at the same time. And there was a couple of areas where Candus indicated deception, but the team didn't take her into custody, right? Didn't interrogate her like they did with Chris Watts, remember? They said, look, you're tired, you're traumatised, come back on Monday. Come back in a few days' time when you've had a little bit of rest and do it again. And she did, and she passed with flying colours. Again, neither Donald nor Candus have ever been taken into custody. They are still in possession of their sons. If the police thought they had anything to do with Summer's disappearance whatsoever, those lads would not be with them now, and they would not be walking free. But at all this time, I've lost both my dogs. Tilly, Cassie, there she is. Good girl. So that's all I've got for you today. My dog's been in the river. She spotted somebody up there. Right, I'm going to go. My dogs are going mad. Hope you're well. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Both back. Both crazy. But loving it. Happy Saturday, guys.